3 days ago, and 3 weeks after a leftist assassinated Charlie Kirk to the cheers of mainstream Democrats, the Democrat candidate for Attorney General of Virginia has been caught on record wishing for the murder of a Republican opponent and the Republicans' children. He still has not properly apologized. He has not dropped out of the race. As far as I can tell, he has not lost a single endorsement, which, especially amid the current indisputable epidemic of leftist political violence, means that every single politician and organization that continues to endorse him supports murdering you and your kids too. We will name the names. I'm Michael Knowles. This is The Michael Knowles Show. Welcome back to the show. Bad Bunny has spoken out on SNL, but not Bad Baby. Bad Baby is from Dr. Phil. This is Bad Bunny, who's the cross-dressing Puerto Rican who's apparently going to perform at the Super Bowl. He spoke on SNL en Espanol. We'll get to what it all means. First, though, I want to tell you about Boll & Branch. Go to bollandbranch.com/Knowles. I love Boll & Branch. I've been sleeping on their sheets now for like 8 years. They are magnificent. Multiple U.S. presidents have slept on them, and your favorite podcast host. Their premium bedding turns any room into a sanctuary with layers made from the finest 100% organic threads that you can immediately feel. Now, crisp fall nights mean the kind of deep, comfortable sleep that make you want to look forward to bedtime. Transform your bedroom into that personal sanctuary with Boll & Branch's thoughtfully curated bed bundles. Whether you are looking for a simple refresh with new sheets and blankets, or you're ready for a complete bedroom makeover, these bundles take the guesswork out of creating your perfect sleep environment. Each collection is designed with different sleep preferences in mind, so you can find exactly what you need for your coolest, coziest, or softest night's rest. Everything is crafted from premium 100% organic cotton and durable, beautiful designs that you can customize in the colors that speak to you. Also, their waffle blanket is magnificent. And it all comes with a 30-night worry-free guarantee, so you can sleep easy knowing you made the right choice. Boll & Branch makes upgrading your bed easier than ever with those curated bundles for a sanctuary of comfort. For a limited time, get 20% off bed bundles at bollandbranch.com/Knowles. Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Knowles. Save up to 20%. Exclusions apply. Jay Jones, running for Attorney General of Virginia. This is the top law enforcement official in Virginia. He's a former state legislator, and he has been caught on the record. Good hat tip to National Review here. This was a great, great report. He has been caught wishing for the murder of a major Republican opponent and the opponent's children. When called out on it, he doubled down. These texts are from 2022. So they're not that long ago. It's not as though these texts came out in 2006 or something, and he's a different person now than he was then. This is very, very recent. This is amid the recent upswing in leftist political violence that really begins around BLM in earnest. He specifically fantasized about putting 2 bullets into the then Virginia House Speaker Todd Gilbert's head. He suggested that he wished that Gilbert's wife could watch her own child die in her arms so that perhaps Gilbert might reconsider his political views. And he accused the Republicans of breeding little fascists. So he said, the kids are little fascists. This name, fascist, bandied about as a way to justify murdering someone, as you saw on the bullets written by the assassin of Charlie Kirk. So just so that I'm not accused of taking anything out of context or being hyperbolic or anything like that, here are the texts. This was Jay Jones writing to a fellow state legislator. He says, if those guys die before me, I will go to their funerals to piss on their graves, send them out awash in something. And then this interlocutor says, Jay Jones. Like, Jay, come on, Jay. He responds, three people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, the Republican Speaker of the House, Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. The man who wants to be Attorney General of Virginia. Jay, please stop, says the interlocutor. Lol, okay. It really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death on them. You weren't simply asking questions and you know it. Goes on, a few exchanges. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. Yes, he admits. Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. I disagree with a state legislator on a matter of public policy. So I want his children to be murdered, and I want them to be murdered in his wife's arms, because then he might agree with me on some other policy. This is explicitly what he's saying. I won't read everything, but he says, I point blank asked you more than 3 times. You dug in that you meant it. I honestly am questioning a lot today. He responds, I mean, do I think Todd and Jennifer, the Republicans, are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? Yes. Okay. Obviously, this is totally disqualifying on every count. Wishing murder on a Republican at any time is disqualifying. Wishing murder on the Republican legislators' children is particularly disqualifying. The fact that this all happened relatively recently is completely disqualifying. So he's disqualified on 3 fronts, except he's still in the race. He's still in the race. Now, at this point, you'd assume he would have lost half of his endorsements, right? Not quite. You would at least expect him to have issued an apology, right, to try to keep his endorsements. I don't know, you tell me, is this an apology? This is his statement. Like all people, I've sent text messages that I regret, and I believe that violent rhetoric has no place in our politics. Let's be clear about what's happening right now in the Attorney General race. Jason Miyares, the Republican, is dropping smears through Trump-controlled media organizations to assault my character. My great character. I'm wishing death upon my opponent's children. My great character. And rescue his desperate campaign. This is a strategy that ensures Jason Miyares will continue to be accountable to Donald Trump, not the people of Virginia. This race is about whether Trump can control Virginia or Virginians control Virginia. Okay, so I am just looking at this now. I'm looking for the word sorry. How many times does the word sorry come up? Nowhere. How many times does the word apologize or apology? How many times do those words? They don't. How many times does the word Trump come up? 3 times. So in this non-apology apology, there's no word sorry. There's no appearance of the words sorry, shame, guilt, apology. He does say regret once in general. He doesn't even say, I regret these text messages. He says, like all people, we're all the same. I didn't do anything particularly wrong. You're just as bad as I am. You're just as bad as he probably does think that. This is what happens with when people are very perverse, like Jay Jones in Virginia's. When people are sick, like Jay Jones, they think that everyone is as disgusting as they are. Like all people, I've sent text messages that I regret. No, not like all. I never sent those text messages. Did you ever send those text messages? No. You didn't wish death on your political opponents and their children, and that their children would die in their wife's arms so that your opponent might come over to your side on some policy issue. You never did that? Okay, so I guess it's not like all people, Jay Jones. So, and I've sent text messages in general. He doesn't even say he regrets these. Vile person. So let's look at the endorsements he's lost. Virginia Beach Democrats. Here you go. This is an organization. This is not even a single individual. This is not a personal friend of his. This is the Democratic Party. Headline: Virginia Beach Democratic Committee stands firmly behind Jay Jones for Attorney General. I know this is jaw-dropping. Maybe it's not. Maybe people have such low expectations of Democrats these days, especially after all those polls that came out in recent weeks showing how much Democrats support political violence. But to me, this is still somewhat surprising to me. Still somewhat shocking, at least, if not surprising. This came out after the text messages. Stands firmly behind Jay Jones. The Virginia Beach Democratic Committee reaffirms its full support of Jay Jones for Attorney General. We are lined up, 10 toes down, ready to organize, mobilize, and deliver voters for Jay and our entire Democratic ticket. They acknowledge. They say, recent press may have spotlighted past mistakes. We say, let those without sin cast the first stone. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. I don't think that I'm better in some absolute sense than Jay Jones. I would point out that Jay Jones is a very, very bad man, who is particularly unqualified for the job that he is seeking, namely the top law enforcement officer in a commonwealth. He is particularly bad for that. But he's a fellow human being. We have charity for him. He should go to confession. He should repent. He should probably go to private life for a little while. Maybe go just work some job as a county lawyer somewhere. Go work at some firm. Do whatever you want to do. Get out of politics for a little bit because you're sick. Okay? To point that out is not to say we are the holiest people in the world. It's to say we recognize that public office requires someone who has even a modicum of a sense of justice and who doesn't want to murder half of his constituents. Let him who is without sin cast the first stone. Furthermore, this is obviously a reference to Christ, who defends the woman who is about to be stoned for adultery. When the woman is about to be stoned for adultery, he points out to the men, he says, hey, well, let him who is without sin cast the first stone. Then the crowd goes away. But then what does Christ always say to the people, to the sinners that he defends? He says, go and sin no more. He doesn't say, and now you are Attorney General of Virginia. So they double down on it. This probably increased Jay Jones's support among the Democratic Party because there is no conclusion that we can reach other than many, many, many Democrats agree with Jay Jones. Many, many, many Democrats, and not just individuals, whole organizations. This is a party committee. They won't pull their endorsement from him because they agree with him, because they do want to murder Republicans, and they do want to murder Republicans' kids, and they want Republicans' kids to be killed in their mother's arms because they hate you and want you dead. That's the only way. That is the only way to read this press release. This is institutional endorsement of the murder of Republicans and our children. That's what this is. Not from some lunatic, not from some freak on Twitter, not from the Democratic Party. That's what this is. After we see these poll after poll, Democrats, people who identify as very liberal, 8 times as likely to endorse political violence as people who consider themselves very Republican. Young liberals in particular, almost 30%, believe political violence can be justified compared to something like 7% among conservatives? How many? After the widespread reaction among Democrats to the assassination of Charlie Kirk that minimized, excused, and even celebrated it. At all levels, the media, in government, in business, and your coworker, and your cousin, and that person who lives down your street, and that person you went to high school with, across the spectrum. There are top Democrats today who continue to endorse Jay Jones and continue to endorse your murder. We'll get to that in 1 second because I have a recommendation of what you can do to help this situation. First, though, I want to tell you about Helix Sleep. Go to helixsleep.com/Knowles. I want to invite you onto my bed. You've wondered about it for years. What would it be like to sleep with Michael? Well, I have the answer. Helix. You get your own Helix, you will know what it's like, okay? What makes Helix different is that it doesn't just sell you some random mattress. Helix matches you with the perfect mattress for your body and sleep style, whether you're a side sleeper, a back sleeper, or somewhere in between. They've got you covered. All you have to do is take their sleep quiz and find your ideal match. When you find the right match, you will wonder how you ever slept on anything else. For those of you who sleep hot, the temperature regulation is a complete game changer. It is just absolutely magnificent all times of the year. In fact, my 2 sons have Helix mattresses. And sometimes, even though, the mattress is built for the individual person, but sometimes you're like, it's kind of comfy too. It's nice reading books at night. It's lovely. Right now is the perfect time to upgrade your sleep because Helix is offering a fantastic sale. Go to helixsleep.com/Knowles, Canada-WLES, to get 20% off site-wide. That is helixsleep.com/Knowles, Canada-WLES, for 20% off site-wide. Make sure you enter my name after checkout so that they know that we sent you. helixsleep.com/Knowles. So Jay Jones, scum of the earth, non-apology apology, doubles down, clearly reaffirmed it multiple times, wants to murder Republicans and our kids and watch the kids die in the mother's arms. The Democratic Party stands behind him. What about individuals? Abigail Spanberger. Abigail Spanberger is a Democrat legislator running for governor right now, the gubernatorial nominee. Abigail Spanberger refuses to disavow. So there is no conclusion we can draw other than that Abigail Spanberger endorses the murder of Republicans and our kids. He didn't even really apologize. What is this? Is this an apology? He issued a second statement after because he realized this one kind of flopped. But show me a proper apology. I haven't seen one. Cory Booker. Cory Booker. Who is Spartacus? Remember Spartacus? He's the New Jersey senator. Oh, good, moderate, mild, virtuous Cory Booker runs into burning buildings to save people. Cory Booker endorsed this guy. Cory Booker's endorsement of Jay Jones is still on the Jay Jones website. Cory Booker has not pulled his endorsement. So I cannot help but conclude that Cory Booker endorses the murder of Republicans and our children. How else am I supposed to think about this? If he pulled his endorsement from Jay Jones, then I might say, okay, that's a bridge too far. Cory Booker's not one of those guys. He, unlike the Virginia Beach Democratic Committee, he doesn't want to murder me and my kids. But as long as he keeps the endorsement there, he supports that. I think we should ask Cory Booker if he supports that. Cory Booker's phone number is 202-224-3224. If you have a pen, if you're driving, pull over, write it down. 202-224-3224. That's Cory Booker's Senate number. I would call Senator Booker's office. I'm really curious. I would say, hello, Senator Booker. Oh, hello, Assistant to Senator Booker. Hi, yeah. Why does Senator Booker support the murder of me and my children? Oh, he doesn't? Well, he's still endorsing Jay Jones. Jay Jones, who repeatedly has endorsed such murder. So is Cory Booker going to pull his endorsement? And you know what they're going to say in the other line? They're probably going to say, no, he's not going to pull it. But he really does. Well, talk is cheap. Talk is really cheap. And those, you can't simultaneously have both things. You can't simultaneously endorse Jay Jones for Attorney General of Virginia and say that you don't want to murder Republicans and their children. Those two things don't go together. That violates the law of non-contradiction. So I would call Senator Booker's office, that number again, 202-224-3224. And I would ask him, I'd say, hey, excuse me, why do you support the murder of Republicans and our kids? And why do you want their kids to die in their mother's arms? And if you don't get a good answer, if you don't get a satisfactory answer, I would consider calling back and trying to get a real answer out of this top Democrat senator. This guy ran for president. How about Bobby Scott, Congressman Bobby Scott, phone number 202-225-8351. That number again, 202-225-8351. Do you know I don't know Bobby Scott. Apparently he's a congressman. He endorses Jay Jones. There are a lot of people who endorse Jay Jones. Their phone numbers are all online, their office phone numbers. I would call their offices. I would try to get some clarity on this. This is pretty shocking stuff. This would have been unimaginable even 5 years ago. Even 5 years ago. I'm not saying 20, 30, 40 years ago. 5 years ago. Comes out. Forget about the fact that this is all coming out after the left murdered, a leftist assassin murdered the most prominent civil debater on the right, and then much of the rest of the Democratic Party celebrated it, or at least excused it. Forget about that circumstance. Put that aside for a second. Just the fact that this text message could come out and this guy would not drop out of the race the very next day shows you that something has dangerously cracked in our politics. And I would make sure you call up some of those top... There are other organizations. Planned Parenthood endorsed him. That's no surprise, obviously. That's actually probably par for the course for Planned Parenthood. That's probably the reason they endorsed, frankly. Oh, you support the murder of our opponent's children? Yeah, great. Okay, perfect. Where do we write the check? A lot of unions. Are you a member of a union? A lot of unions support Jay Jones. I would look on jjones.com/endorsements. I would look up to see if my union had endorsed. I'd probably call my union leadership. Okay. Enough on Jay Jones. You get the point. 202-224-3224. That's Senator Booker's office, in case you forgot. Speaking of unhinged Democrats, is any of this episode even going to make it onto YouTube today? We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Otherwise, you got to go to DailyWire.com to get the full show. This is not imaginable, even for left-wing Republicans. Left-wing Democrats 6-7 years ago. We are in a completely new situation. And my point to the Democrats, especially on the political violence thing, is do not allow the paucity of imagination to stop you from restraining yourself now. A lot of people don't think that politics can spin out of control. It can. It can spin out of control. Serious civil strife, at least, has started for a lot less than what we're seeing around us. We can't pull it back. The Republicans can't pull it back because we're not the ones instigating it. We're not the ones defending political violence. We're not the ones calling for the murder of our opponents and their children. We're not the ones who don't know the difference between a man and a woman running around like screaming lunatics at the Capitol in women's clothing with big butch voices. Okay, we're not those people. It's you. You're the crazy ones. And we can try to restrain you. I guess that's what federal law enforcement is trying to do. But if half the country's political order spins out of control and starts endorsing murdering the other half and their kids, there's not all that much we can do to prevent serious civil strife. Okay. Now, I want to tell you about something a little bit happier, and that's Vandy Crisps. Go to vandycrisps.com/Knowles. Did you know that all chips and fries used to be cooked in beef tallow until the 1990s when big corporations switched to cheap processed seed oils? Today, seed oils make up 20% of the average American's daily calories and have been linked to metabolic issues and inflammation. Vandy Crisps saw a problem in the snack aisle and decided to do something about it. They created an incredible potato chip with just 3 simple ingredients and no seed oils. They just use heirloom potatoes, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. That beef tallow is not just there for the amazing flavor, it's loaded with nutrients that are fantastic for your skin, your brain, your hormones. It's just totally different. Okay. The other thing about Vandy Crisps is because they're totally different and they feel fuller. I don't know. They feel like what a chip should be. So probably you get the feeling within a quarter of the Vandy Crisps, the feeling of fullness and satisfaction as you would from, 4 times that in some cheap seed oil potato chip. They're just magnificent. My favorite flavor is the original. I just love the original, but I've heard they have a new one, Herbe de Provence, which I haven't tried yet, so I have to try those too. But the original, for me, are where it's at. They're 100% American-made, zero compromises, best chips I've ever had, hands down. Beef tallow makes them super satiating. You will love it. Or if you're ready to give Vandy a try, go to vandycrisps.com/Knowles. Use code Knowles for 25% off your first order. vandycrisps.com/Knowles. Code Knowles, 25% off your first order. Don't feel like ordering online? That's fine. It's available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. Stop by and pick up a bag before they're gone. All right, we got a new show. I'm very, very excited about this. We have a new show. We were meaning to launch it a month, 2 months ago. It kind of got held up a little bit. Events dictate how we release things. But this show is something we've been planning for a long time. It's called Bar Fight. And it's where it's me and 2 libs. We go to a honky-tonk in Nashville. Nashville's in a red state, Tennessee, but it's a blue town, Nashville. So you get a mix of political people in there. And you have an open debate on all sorts of issues. Here's just a little clip.
Trump is Putin's bitch.
You are anti-American.
No. Let me talk.
Most of the illegals are asylum seekers or are they economic
Wait,
migrants?
no. Wait. Listen to what you just said.
I want to help you get laid. Not me, like
Are you pro-incel?
No.
Well, welcome to Bar Fight. I'm Michael Knowles. I'm joined tonight by 2 guests.
Wow, real sophisticated answer.
I know.
You would know him from CNN if anyone ever watched. Adam Mockler.
Well, dude, you got to answer my questions a little better.
Just because you're wrong about something doesn't mean it's not.
That's convenient.
You know what? You should get out of my country.
They want more deportation.
I'm also joined one of the most reasonable people ever to appear on Jubilee. That would be Cecilia Ray.
That's Bar Fight. So you can go check it out now on the Michael Knowles YouTube channel and DailyWire Plus. Cecilia Ray, Adam Mockler, and a bar full of rowdy, intoxicated people. Okay. Speaking of theatrical Democrats, Zohran Mamdani, next mayor of New York. He is the Muslim communist running on a platform of queer liberation for New York City. Probably not going to go well. He's almost certainly going to be the mayor. Zohran just made a spectacle of himself because Tom Homan was in New York, top deportation czar, and Zohran decided to shriek at him like a maniac. This is a bad look for him. If you're just listening to the show right now, he's red in the face. His face is all contorted. He's shrieking at the federal deportation czar. So I think a lot of people see this and say, oh, this is all just theatricality. He's trying to signal to his base that he's really opposed to the deportations. Maybe. But I don't know. I think this might really be him. Because this is a bad look for him. Zohran Mamdani does not need to convince anyone that he's radical. Zohran Mamdani does not need to convince anyone that he's on the left. He won that race. Everyone knows he's to the left of Andy Cuomo. Everyone knows he's to the left of Eric Adams. Everyone knows he's to the left of Curtis Sliwa. He doesn't have to win over the left. He doesn't need to excite the left. He is a communist. He's called for communism in housing. We played the clip last week. He's called for queer liberation. He's all this kind of stuff, okay? So he's got that locked down. Zohran Mamdani needs to convince people that he's normal. Now, apparently, the clip has just started going viral again. The clip is apparently from earlier this year. Still, though, it was from while he's already running. At that point, no one is thinking that he's to the right of Curtis Sliwa or Eric Adams or Andy Cuomo or any of these other people. I think this is him. I think this is who he really is. You know, we all have these low expectations of politicians. We all kind of think that they're all just unprincipled. They don't really believe anything. They just, they're just motivated by, power or money or something. Okay, some people are like that. But they call that a realistic view of politics. I think that's actually a very unrealistic view. I think people get involved in politics because generally they believe something. They have some view of politics. And in the case of Mamdani, I think he's the real deal. I think he is who he says he is. And that's very bad for New York. I think it's kind of anti-American. Look, you can see this now throughout the ICE raids and deportations. So really good news coming out of ICE. ICE just posted, actually on social media, a video of it hog-tying an Antifa operative in Portland and dragging him on a dolly. This is the clip. Hold on, where's my audio? I don't hear any audio. Did you not pull my audio? This is very upsetting to me because the audio includes, "You see me rolling." And it's just some ICE agent dragging some punk-faced Antifa operative wearing a black hoodie and some stupid knapsack. This is good stuff. Love this. Repeal the 22nd Amendment. No term limits. Emperor Trump must remain on the throne forever. This is good stuff. This is what I voted for. This is, I suspect, what you voted for. It's not even that they're dragging immigrants. You'd kind of feel bad if it were some nice Venezuelan peasant, or even if it were a gangbanger. You'd feel a little happier about that. But the fact that this is an actual avowed domestic terrorist, an anarchist, communist type, Antifa, trying to injure ordinary conservative Americans, you feel really good about that. This is a preview of things to come because there's a showdown that's about to happen between the federal government and the blue cities where these evils fester. Cities like Portland, cities like Chicago. Trump has already signaled that this is going to happen, and he's already demonstrated what it looks like by going into blue cities in red states. So the ad man just came out, Stephen Miller, Deputy White House Chief of Staff, came to Memphis and said, "Hey, Memphis, we are here to support you. Not just with words. We're here to support you with men, with forces, with resources. We are going to restore order to these cities." But It's not going to work if you only go into the blue cities and the red states. You also have to go into the much worse places, which are the blue cities and the blue states. And in some cases, you're having the mayors and governors try to undermine federal law enforcement. There's a word for that. The word for that is insurrection. It's kind of funny because the left tried to pretend that Granny's taking pictures in the Capitol on January 6th was like the worst insurrection in the history of the world. And in fact, what they are doing in Portland, what they're doing in Chicago, is as textbook a definition of insurrection as one could imagine. This showdown is happening. And the thing for conservatives to keep in mind is there's nothing overstepping about this. There's nothing exaggerated. There's nothing undue about the federal government going in and enforcing federal law when the cities and the states will not do that. Or really for the federal government going in and enforcing even local and state laws when the states and the cities fail to do that. Because that's what the federal government is for. The federal government is there for a purpose. That's one of the purposes. Okay, nothing wrong about that. Time to rally the troops and defend. Okay, now you're seeing this play out on the cultural front as well with Mr. Bad Bunny, not the girl from the Dr. Phil show. Cash me how about that? It is a Puerto Rican cross-dressing rapper who is apparently going to play the Super Bowl. He's got a message for ordinary Americans. The message is that he hates you. We told you when the left attacks, we would only get louder. And on Thursday, October 16th, we are turning the volume all the way up. Here's your first look at the Daily Wire's new live show, Friendly Fire.
October 16th, we celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the Daily Wire. 10 years of leftist tears. New shows, big moves, bigger targets. And first up is our newest show, Friendly Fire.
Usually I kind of like tune it out and then I come back in like most of the time.
No safe words, no moderator.
Not to be obscene, but those are underwhelming breasts. By the way, that is the best evidence that he did not draw because you know that he would have gone double D if he had drawn it.
We're celebrating our first decade and kicking off the next 10 years by doing what we do best.
Roll it back.
Picking arguments, starting fights, and filming the whole thing.
I find that horribly offensive.
You almost ruined my marriage.
We're always kind of looking forward to what's the next big thing.
This segment, no one is disagreeing, but I actually find the whole conversation very disagreeable and unpleasant.
October 16th on Daily Wire.
Welcome to week 7 of the Pendragon Cycle.
Pendragon Cycle TV show.
Mark your calendars. Friendly Fire premieres October 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Daily Wire Plus. Do not miss out. Join now and get 40% off new annual memberships with code FALL40 at dailywireplus.com. My favorite comment on Friday is from Overruled Again, who says, NFL should have hired Vanilla Ice to sing Ice, Ice, Baby. That is so true. That would be a great halftime show. It would be the greatest halftime show of my lifetime, probably. Ice, Ice, Baby. And that maybe they could still do it, though, is the thing. Because the federal government has said, Tom Homan said, we're going to go to the NFL. Bad Baby is saying that he wants his supporters to evade ICE. ICE should show up to the Super Bowl, round up a bunch of, and then out of the ICE vehicle, Vanilla Ice should pop out. Dun 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 dun. That'd be great. Take over the NFL speakers. That would be cinematic. That would be theatrical. That'd be a lot better than a little video by Tim McBride. Speaking of rebellions over immigration, Mr. Bad Bunny comes out. He's on SNL over the weekend. Here's his message to America.
Logro de todo, demostrando que nuestra huella y nuestra aportación en este país nadie nunca la podrá sacar ni borrar. And if you didn't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn.
What are they cheering for? You heard that cheering there at the end? What are they cheering for? Bad Bunny, not Baby, Bad Bunny comes out and he says something in Spanish that most people in the audience don't understand. Then he says, I know that you did not understand what I just said. I don't know why he sounds Cuban. I know at least say hello to my... That's the only way. I can't do a Puerto Rican. I don't know how to do a Puerto Rican accent. I know you did not understand what I just said. That's why I'm going to acknowledge it, Lucy. You got some explaining to do. And so I want to let you know that if you did not understand that, you got 4 months to learn. Ese, comprende? And they all applaud. I just said something that you couldn't understand. I disrespected you, and I inconvenienced you, and I ignored the standards and norms of this country that I'm in for some reason. And screw you. You have to assimilate to my way of life. I'm not going to assimilate to yours. At the new American pastime, football at the Super Bowl, the biggest game of the year. Screw you, gringos. And then these people, they say, woo, yeah, tell me how bad I am. That's right. Yeah, disrespect my country more. I hate English, but I can't speak any other languages. I'm awful, aren't I? That's it. I'm not opposed to Spanish. The Spanish language is perfectly nice. I don't speak Spanish, but I speak other languages. I'm not opposed to I like speaking other languages. Italian, we got a little touch of French, a little touch of Latin, even a hint of Esperanto. I can even understand a lot of Spanish. It's the disrespect is the problem. Because English is one of the symbols of America. And do you know why it is? Do you know why English is one? Even though we haven't had an official language for much of our country's history, we have had a national language. The national language is English. And the reason is because countries need to have anything to unify them. And a lot of countries, maybe most countries in the world, have ethnicity to unify it. We don't have ethnicity. We previously had substantial degree of ethnic homogeneity. We don't have that anymore. We were told that's very bad, and so now we're told diversity is our strength. Okay, so take that one off the table. We previously had religion to unify us. Now we're told we can't have a religion. We have to have a firm separation of church and state. That wasn't how America operated for most of our history, but now we're told we can't have a religion to unify us. Okay. We at the very least used to have borders. Remember that? Now we're told we can't even have that. So, okay, what unifies us? Basically, the last thing that can unify us is our language, which is why the hardcore left-wing activists are so eager to undermine our national language. That's what this is about. That's the subtext. And that's what the Super Bowl performance is about. That's the subtext. Is attacking the notion of America as a coherent nation. They already got rid of all the other things that can make us cohere as a nation. English is one of the last ones. That's what that's about. They're cheering for undermining America. And it's a lot of people doing that. It's not most people. Trump won the popular vote, but it's a lot of people. You know me, I'm pretty hopeful. I'm neither optimistic nor pessimistic because those are just feelings that are unmoored from reality, but I'm hopeful because that's a theological virtue and it is demanded of me, and I take it to heart. I really am hopeful. But hope sees the world as it is and recognizes that things are very likely going to get much, much worse before they get really much better in the end. And I look at this, I say things are, I say this as hopefully as I possibly can. Things are much worse than you think they are. I know maybe you didn't come here to hear that. Things are much worse than you think they are. People are cheering for the disrespect of the American people as such. We have lunatic cross-dressers running around the Capitol as legislators. And one of the two major American political parties is explicitly endorsing the murder of the other, as well as the children of members of the other political party. Things are much worse than you think they are. And I mention this not to encourage anyone to do anything unjust or untoward or anything. Certainly not encouraging that. But I do think we need to recognize the stakes and recognize that when President Trump is going to send federal agents into these blue cities, he's doing so for a reason. When President Trump is deporting At this point, probably over 2 million people. By July, it was 1.6 million had been deported, and many of whom self-deported. When President Trump writes executive orders clarifying national policy, restoring the older national policy on burning the American flag, for instance, on recognizing that certain symbols of the nation have to have a special place of reverence and veneration, that you have to do that, actually. And for the squishes and the wimps and the people with their heads in the sand who want to pretend that this is just like 1998 or something, and we all basically agree and we can all just kind of get along. No, this is unimaginable. The assassination of Charlie changes everything. It actually didn't change all that much. It just revealed that the situation had been changed. Many of us didn't want to admit it. The fact that Jay Jones remains in the race for Attorney General of Virginia and hasn't lost a single endorsement shows you that something has fundamentally changed. And we have to address that politically. Because if we don't address it politically, people are going to address it personally. And that's not good. That's very unjust and that's very disordered. So it has to be addressed politically. And it needs to be addressed with an extraordinary amount of strength. And the time to do it is now. The best time to do it is yesterday. The second best time is today. And if, and I trust when, President Trump responds to this increasing civil turmoil with strength and with leadership and with the fact that he has the people on his side because he won the popular vote, we need to support that. Capiche? Okay. Much more to get to, but that's our show. We have to get to Music Monday now in the Member Room segmentum. The show continues now. You do not want to miss it. Become a member. Use code Knowles, KNOWLES at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans.